Chris Gelser here with
Matt Howell.
On this episode of The First Run, Matt and I are going to discuss the directorial debut from musician Boots Riley, Sorry to Bother You. It's his satirical take on pretty much everything. We're also going to discuss the latest from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Skyscraper. Is this the Die Hard remake you've been waiting for? If anybody's been waiting for that. And then finally, we're going to wrap up this year's San Diego Comic-Con. Lots of trailers to talk about, lots of news. It was a big, big event this year. And there's also going to be some other stuff. It's going to be a wild, raucous episode, folks, so buckle up. Let's start everything off with a clip from Sorry to Bother You.
Hey, young blood, let me give you a tip. Use your white voice.
Man, I ain't got no white voice.
Oh, come on, you know what I mean. You have a white voice in there, you can use it. It's like when you pulled over by the police.
Oh, no, I just use my regular voice when that happens. I just say, back the fuck up off the car and don't nobody get
All
out.
right, man, I'm just trying to give you some game. You want to make some money here? Then read the script with a white voice.
People say I talk with a white voice anyway, so why ain't it helping me out?
Well, you don't talk white enough. I'm not talking about Will Smith's wife. I'm talking about the real deal. Like this young blood.
Hey, Mr. Kramer. This is Langston from Regal View. I didn't catch you at the wrong time, did I?
All right, Matt, so why don't you break it down for the folks currently hiking in the Himalayas. By the way, this episode, remember, we are officially doing theme episodes now. So this, like last week, was specifically mastered for being on a plane. Matt, this one is specifically been mastered for your listening pleasure for a wake. So enjoy. Why don't you tell the people at said wake, Matt, what is Sorry to Bother You all about?
All right, so Cassius Green, he's a young man who's looking for a job in, let's say, alternate reality Oakland, and he gets a job with a telemarketing firm where he is encouraged to, as you heard in the clip, speak with his white voice, and as he does so, he moves up further and further up the ranks, and he gets involved with the head of the company. And a bunch of really weird stuff happens throughout this entire film. So, yeah, I think we'll get into it more specifics, but that's it in a nutshell.
So, it's hard to know where to go with this thing. I'm going to start by saying this, that I found this to be kind of a brilliant piece of cinematic art that has a very strong voice that is going to take you places that you don't anticipate it's going to go. And it is not... Listen, I think this would be a tough sit for people who are more in favor of a traditional narrative. But clearly, Mr. Riley does not care about your concerns with that here. He is throwing basically everything at you with this thing. This thing satirically comments on, like wage theft, identity, be it cultural or racial, whatever the case may be, whiteface, capitalism, cultural conflicts. I mean, and with a truly insane final act that I'm still kind of wrapping my head around. Was it too much, man? I guess that's my big question. Is Sorry to Bother You too much?
No, it's not. This movie is insane in the best possible way. I loved watching this film. I mean, I think what I appreciated about it is I was expecting this to be kind of like a one-note kind of like race relations satire kind of thing, which is fine and well good for our
like a socially conscious Office Space type thing,
right? Exactly. Yes, but
SJWs.
Yes, but this thing went completely off the rails. This was like watching. This was like watching like a Robot Chicken episode. This is something I would see at late night, really late night on Cartoon Network or Adult Swim. Those really weird, Too Many Cooks type of things that come out there, and it's just all over the place, and just it has so much to say and so many things to skewer and just so many parts of our society to kind of like pick apart. I thought it was excellent, just the way when stuff goes completely off the rails and we get animal people, like that was fantastic. I thought that was so funny. I thought Armie Hammer was great. Everything about it was just fantastic.
Yeah, I was wondering if Hammer was actually coked up throughout the entire filming of this thing just to begin with. But it's like if Michel Gondry was on crack, is what this movie is for me, and I mean that in the highest praise possible.
Well, did you see one of the claymation work video was made by Michel Dongry?
Oh, I did not catch that. No.
That's who it was made. That's who it was made by.
Well, there you go. So I guess I'm not that far off then.
Yeah.
So listen, LaKeith Stanfield does some fantastic work in this. If you're not familiar, he's been in a bunch of stuff over the years. I guess Get Out, he played the guy that screams Get Out, right?
Yeah.
But another thing for me too, Tessa Thompson is just a force in this thing. She is, I think, just absolutely fantastic in this, as is LaKeith Stanfield. And the cast is universally strong. I may have had some weak moments with some of the supporting characters. I am not as on board, I think, with our your boy Armie Hammer as you might be on this. I don't know if it's weird. I really think the equine sapien thing may have been. I get what's going on. Listen, you just have to give in for this thing, all right? It's a roller coaster ride. You just have to just give into it, and I think you will enjoy it like I did. But when that stuff first started happening, I was like, okay. But then I'm like, you know what? Everything else I've seen ahead of time, why the heck not? Why the hell not? I'm just going to enjoy this thing. I particularly liked when he was connecting with people over the phone. I just these little touches just made this thing a lot of fun to watch. It's a challenging watch, as I said, narrative-wise, but still, I really, really enjoyed this thing.
Yeah, I think you have to be of a certain bent to watch this thing, and I guess maybe I'm of a certain bent. I was all on board with the kind of fantastical elements of it and what they were going with. I mean, and I thought Hammer, I mean, yeah, it was over the top, and it was just ridiculous, but I think that fit in with the narrative of what the heck was going on. I mean, this is kind of what you expect. I mean, the guy's wearing a sarong in his own party with a suit on top of it. I mean, it is fantastic. But so can we do one little spoiler discussion? I want to get what you're thinking on something. Yeah. So, you know, as we go through the thing, Mr. Blank, he's got the voice of Patton Oswalt, and Cassius has the voice of
David Cross.
David Cross, thank you. But Tessa Thompson, she shows that she has a white voice too, that she does at the art show, and it's Lily James, who was in Baby Driver and all that kind of stuff. So my question is this: is the narrator of the work video, is that Tessa Thompson? Is that Lily James who's doing that narration? Because they give you these little hints that she's in on it, because there's a piece of her art is in Armie Hammer's house. There's just these little hints that they drop into it that she may be a part of it, although they never explicitly say that throughout the entire film.
That's interesting. And you know what? I didn't even catch that. So now my mind is blown for the 6th time after watching this thing. That's fascinating. I don't know. I don't think so. You think because of Armie Hammer's plot for Cash, you're thinking that maybe that Detroit, which is Tessa's character, is part of that setting a trap for him, I guess, to push I don't think it works though, because she breaks up with him because of he sells out for I think though it's at the same time I think what it would be is, I don't think it was kind of like this massive conspiracy where they were dating or whatever, but she does end up starting working there, right? So I think when he starts to move up the ranks and they need him to do something, it's like get him to push him towards this particular thing. And that's what she does. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't know. It just seems that there's some clues there that seem to be just kind of sitting there that maybe she was at least part of it. Or maybe not as militant against it as she would like you to believe. Maybe. That's an interesting theory. I don't know. But still, it's I don't know. I think I love, though, everything that Riley has to say in this with worry-free, right? I mean, obviously, we're talking about Google or your Amazons, that kind of thing. You know, look, that's what people don't realize. I think how great Google is, right? By building all this stuff for their employees and going to build you're basically building indentured servitude. Where it's the old days when you had to use the boss's money at the boss's general store type of thing, right?
Right.
So, I mean, there is so much in this film. It is whip smart, absolutely hilarious, and it's a thought-provoking roller coaster ride into hell. I don't know what to tell you. It is. I think it demands to be seen. I don't know if it's for everybody. but everybody should see it, and then just, I don't know, smoke a little pot and have a good time.
And try and scrub the idea of a nude equisapien from your mind.
Yeah, and when I was reading up ahead of this thing too, and it was rated R for nudity. This is not the nudity I was expecting. To be perfectly honest with you.
Me neither, to be quite honest with you. No.
So, what are your final thoughts on Sorry to Bother You? Give me a grade.
I'm gonna give it an A-. I really enjoyed it. I don't, like you said, I don't think it's everybody's cup of tea. I think it's something that's definitely got its own audience, but I think everybody should go out and see it. They should give it a chance just to see if you're in that audience.
Listen, yeah, and we always try and push this stuff, right? The smaller, little artsy films that are a little different, because you want to continue to see this made. You do not want to have just your superheroes, your just what cookie cutter
your rock
stuff
vehicles
churned out over and over again. Oh, we'll talk about Skyscraper in a bit. So, but yeah, I agree with you. I'm going A- on Sorry to Bother You as well. I don't know. Shoot us an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. I'm dying to hear what other people thought about this thing. Critically, it's a big smash, right? All the critics love it. But I'm curious what Joe Sixpack thinks about it at the theater. I'm wondering where you come down.
He wants to know where he can sign up for Worry Free. Sounds like a good deal.
Exactly. All right, so we got some stuff coming out on Blu-ray and DVD, Matt, this upcoming Tuesday. That's interesting. In fact, this one I found quite interesting. Take a listen.
Who are you?
I am Selena, Dionysus of Catania, priestess of Sekhmet. I am the ultimate siren of Endor, and you, little lady, are trespassing on private property.
She means him. I am Kara of Argo City, daughter of Alora and Zor-El. And I don't scare easily.
No.
No.
Try this.
You got to look out, Supergirl. So, that, of course, is the 1984 film Supergirl with Faye Dunaway, Peter Cook, and, of course, Helen Slater as the titular Girl of Steel. This thing has been out of print, Matt, for I don't know how long, but it's being released on Blu-ray. You can pick it up this Tuesday, July 24th. Now, last time you got mad at me, so I made sure I didn't say it was the big release of the week, because I think you would agree that the big release of the week is going to be Ready Player One.
I would agree.
If you buy it from Best Buy, you get a steel book. Target's got a special lenticular cover, possibly just for the 4K. I wasn't able to confirm that. Includes a Dolby Vision presentation of the film, Dolby Atmos, again, only on the 4K. A whole bunch of making of featurettes and talking about the Easter eggs and everything in it. Will you be buying Ready Player One, Matt?
I think if it drops to a certain threshold, yeah. I think I'll pick it up once it gets down to probably less than $10.
Here's my problem. Now that I'm all 4K set, because I'm cool,
right?
Those price points don't really work for me anymore.
Okay.
There's not Ready Player One is not going to come down to $10 on 4K for
years.
5 years, maybe. It's
You
going to
think that
be
long?
No, probably not.
Yeah.
Maybe in a couple years on Black Friday, but that's like the best I can hope for. Maybe it'll get to $14.99 at some point.
Right.
But that's it. It'll never be. I don't know if it'll ever be a 10.
Right.
Unless it's part of one of those buy 3 for $30 or buy 2 for, I don't know.
When we were buying Blu-rays and they were like the cheapest if you could find one for $20, that was like a great steal when it first came out. Now look at them. They're literally laying in bins right now. So just give it time. Yeah.
That's true. Well, but you have to wait for the next technology to come. That's the problem. Or we just hit a point where everybody switches to digital. And then this stuff will start coming down. Like Best Buy right now, with 30% off all their CDs in store.
Yeah.
I went to check that out. Really nothing of any interest.
I'm sure. Well, they have their CD section is tiny. Hell, even their movie section is really tiny now. It's disturbing.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. So that's a big release, really. Coming out that's new to Blu-ray. Criterion is giving us a matter of life and death. After miraculously surviving a jump from his burning plane, RAF pilot Peter Carter, played by David Niven, the first James Bond. Was he the first James Bond? I don't think technically, yes. encounters the American radio operator played by Kim Hunter, to whom he's just delivered his dying wishes, and face-to-face on a tranquil English beach, the pair fall in love. Includes a new 4K restoration, audio commentary ported over from the 2009 release, and some new interviews as well. So you're building up your Criterion. Remember, the sale is still going on at Barnes & Noble. That Supergirl thing we were talking about, Matt, I want to point out that that includes the international cut of the film. The director's cut is available as part of this release, but is only in standard definition, which is just, I don't know. I find that ridiculous. Scream Factory is releasing a new version of In the Mouth of Madness. Are you familiar with In the Mouth of Madness? It's got a cult following. It's the Lovecraft adaptation. I don't think it's that
good. I don't really get it. I don't get it. I mean, I guess it's a cool idea in theory, and the end of it is kind of cool, but it's not particularly well made or well acted or good.
Yeah. Well, Scream Factory has given us a brand new 4K remaster of the film, a brand new commentary with John Carpenter and his producer Sandy King Carpenter, and a whole bunch of other new stuff, including an interview with Greg Nicotero about the special effects that were used in the film. They also ported over an old commentary as well, featuring Carpenter. I watched this again like a year or two ago because I was thinking about buying it, and I think it was on one of the streaming services. I was like, I just don't think it's worth owning, unfortunately. Another Carpenter film, Someone's Watching Me, is being released as well. Includes a new 2K master on that bad bear. New audio commentary with the author of the book that it's based on. A new interview with Adrienne Barbeau. I had such a crush on Adrienne Barbeau back when I was like 12. And then a whole bunch of other new stuff as well. And then, of course, one of your favorite films, the Chevy Chase movie Memoirs of an Invisible Man. It's the John Carpenter trilogy is being released as well. It includes a brand new 2K master of the film, some outtakes, vintage interviews. They didn't really go all in on that one. Beyond Reanimator is being released on a new Blu-ray set. Includes a restored and remastered Blu-ray and some new featurettes, including isolated score feature, a new interview with the director Brian Usna, a new interview with Jeffrey Combs, the actor. I don't think I saw Beyond Reanimator. I think it's the third one, right? So I saw the first two, but I don't think I ever saw the third. And then the Stuart Gordon film Dagon is being released. Another H.P. Lovecraft adaptation. Includes new interviews with Stuart Gordon, some other people as well, and a couple new featurettes. But if you're a fan of Dagon, do you know Dagon? Did you ever see that one? That's when the fish monster people.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. I've never seen it though. No.
All right. Well, now you can pick it up on Blu-ray. And your straight to DVD pick of the week, Matt, is going to be House Shark.
Oh, okay. Tell me all about it.
Thought it was safe to go home. When Frank finds his happy home under attack by a dangerous but largely unknown breed of shark, he enlists the aid of the world's only house shark expert, Zachary, and a grizzled former real estate agent, Abraham, to embark on a desperate quest to destroy the beast and claim back his life. It's Jaws in a house. I don't understand this. It's a land-based shark. Naturally. So which will we be streaming this week?
So I may have mentioned this, or this show's been on for a long time. It's quite possible this has been mentioned before, but I'm going to mention it again because it made me think of Chris and I and our budding bromance that we've had for many, many years. So available on Netflix is I Love You Man, starring Paul Rudd and Jason Segel as two man-children who discover each other late in life and become best buds on the eve of Paul Rudd's nuptials. This is actually one of the first times me and Chris went and hung out was to go see this movie. So
that's true. Slapping the bass.
Slapping the bass. So there you go. Check it out.
Fun times. All right. Next up, oh boy, I've been waiting for this one.
I'm sure you have.
Listen, we've all talked in the past about my affection for Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I've always felt that The Rock, that Dwayne Johnson, is like our modern-day Schwarzenegger. He's the one carrying the torch, though he still hasn't found that go-to franchise. I don't think Fast and Furious, even though he breathed new life into it, Matt, that it's his franchise, right?
Right.
He tried with Hercules. He's tried with a bunch of stuff. Maybe it'll be Shazam. Who knows? But even then, he's not the star of that. Maybe it'll be the Black Adam spin-off film, which may never get made. Who knows? Will Skyscraper be the one that starts it? We will find out after this.
Listen to me. Opening those doors from this floor can't be done. Anything can be done with the proper motivation.
No, 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 no.
Okay, Cuzzy. You're gonna bring Chow and what he's holding behind those doors to me. Or I'm gonna throw your daughter off the roof.
Man, that's pretty good motivation. Throwing the Rock's daughter off a roof of a 3,500 foot tall tower. So Lau, who is very good with calculation, is built that's a Dark Knight reference, by the way. Built a huge tower, and he's brought in The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, who is a former military, who now does a little home business where he is a security expert, to confirm that the security is good and it's fantastic and that everything's going to be fine. And Lau, unfortunately, has crushed some people where he got double-crossed, and there's people who want to burn the building and get a super secret USB stick, and then it's up to Dwayne Johnson to rescue his family and save the day, and the building's on fire, and it's got really cool stuff, like these little tablets that zoop up that mirror all the stuff around him for no reason whatsoever, just so you can have a final scene. And there's a lot of things that happen, and for the first time ever, Matt, I didn't care for The Rock in a movie. I desperately wanted this thing to end. And even when he's in a movie that's bad, you can enjoy him in the movie.
Right.
That didn't happen this time.
No.
Not at all. And there's no time really establishing a plot or story in this thing. And you'd think that maybe that would be a great thing because we're just going to be a really fast-paced film with lots of adventure and action. And all we're doing is moving pieces into place, be they characters, ideas, or objects, and then we're going to set it on fire. And I feel like the plot, like the pitch thing of this is like, all right, let's remake Die Hard. We're going to get The Rock in, and this time the whole building is going to be on fire. And what do you think of that? And it's mind-numbingly dull. It is a terrible script. They do this thing too, Matt, where they do a callback to a joke in the beginning of the film, how Neve Campbell saves the day. And I audibly groaned in the theater. There was another point too where Neve Campbell's character, she plays The Rock's wife, where she has to pick out the bad guy out of a photo array. She tells him he's a white guy of Finnish or Norwegian or Swedish, whatever it was, accent. And then the police pull up 6 photos and he's one of them. Like, just like that.
Done.
And I actually again laughed out loud and said, "Are you kidding me?" This thing is a disaster.
I know.
I wanted the movie to burn like that building. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. And so this should put things in perspective, folks. Chris and I are children of the 80s, and Chris has a real affection for cheesy action movies. He loves Arnold Schwarzenegger. He'll go watch something even that I'm saying, Chris, let's not do it. He's like, no, Arnie, man, let's go check it out. Let's go see it. And
Killing Gunther.
Killing Gunther.
I still haven't watched Aftermath, though. I got to check that one out.
Oh, okay. But I mean, here's the thing. Rock has a charisma, right? But
not this time.
No, but I mean, here's the thing. It's not unusual for him not to have charisma. I'm not 100% sure he can carry a movie by himself. Like Rampage, not good. San Andreas, the things that are fun that he's kind of fun.
I didn't see that, and I like Alexander Daddario, and that's still, the two of them together still wasn't enough to get me to see that.
I know. So I mean, think of the things that I've seen that he's been good in is obviously Fast and the Furious. The Jumanji remake is actually really good. It's actually really entertaining for a kid's film, but he's not really carrying the whole weight of the film. I don't know if he's capable of doing it, which is really, have we bet too much money on The Rock here?
I don't know. I hadn't even thought about it because this whole thing is how charismatic he is.
Right.
Right? That's his whole thing. I mean, he's big. He's got a million-watt smile. He's a handsome dude. I don't know what it is. I guess I have to chalk it up to the director, Rostin Marshall Thurber, and an exceptionally poorly written script by said Thurber. I don't know. It's just so dull and cookie cutter, and it's just I can't. How do you make? I don't have. Maybe you're right. Maybe we've been. Well, how could we have been wrong all of these years? I can't.
Well, I think he's got the capability in him, but I think maybe he makes bad work choices. Like, okay, so Rampage, San Andreas, Baywatch. These are all things that he thought like he couldn't even salvage. They were so bad. Like, and this is just add that to the list. I mean, I'm sure if we looked at his IMDb page, there'd be quite a few other things that he did not salvage. I don't know. I just think maybe we've given The Rock too much credit. I'm gonna hold final judgment until we see Shazam. And it was interesting, I think, that we didn't see him at all in the trailer, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But yeah, this is just not good. It's just middling might be too kind of a word. It was just dull, and that's the worst. It's not even bad in an entertaining way. It's just dull. Yeah.
So there was all right. So he made his feature debut, right, in The Mummy Returns.
Sure.
And that horrible CGI Scorpion King thing. If you want to see bad CGI,
yes.
I mean, that is like a masterclass in what not to do. And then Doom was not good. Walking Tall. The Rundown I enjoyed him in. Still not a great film. Snitch actually isn't too bad.
I don't think I've seen Snitch.
It's not good. This is not a good Ovra. Furious films, G.I. Joe Retaliation, the Fast and Furious movies, Faster. Faster's okay too. Again, it's a film like nobody saw. Yeah, no, it's... I don't know. Maybe I've been wrong all these years. But this thing, folks, this is a horrible, horrible film. I'm giving this thing a D. I don't even know how much more I want to talk about it. It is repetitive. It is rote. It is dumb. It brings nothing new to the genre. And especially when we're hearing that Mission Impossible Fallout redefines the action genre. It's supposed to be that good.
Yeah.
To see something as unrelentingly stupid as Skyscraper, it makes me angry. I don't know why. My life is pretty good. I don't know why this made me as upset as it did. I mean, it's not Snowman bad, but it's bad.
It's bad.
I can't recommend you ever seeing this. Even if you're a diehard Rock fan, you would do yourself a favor by not seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving this thing a D.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to give it a D as well. I was thinking D+, but you talked me into a D, so there you go.
Good. How dare you? Not you, but the Skyscraper people. That final scene is so infuriating because the big action set piece at the end. First, I'm trying to think, what was the first time that mirror thing was done? Is it the Bruce Lee movie, the Dragon movie? What is it?
Yeah, it's the first time I can think of it. Yeah, Enter the Dragon.
And it's been done so many times. They just did it in John Wick 2. They just did it.
Yep.
And this is what so infuriates me about it is when you're in the beginning of the film, when you're introduced to that room that has this mirroring technology, you know why.
Yeah.
You know why.
That is Chekhov's mirror room. That's for sure.
It definitely is. If you're not familiar, Google Chekhov's gun. That's what you're entirely right. That's Chekhov's mirror room. That's exactly what it is. And the whole movie's like that. And it's just so... Yeah. And I know it's weird too. I think why? Because it was so lazy and so stupid. I refuse to suspend my disbelief. Because there are moments like when he's climbing the crane, I'm like, even The Rock would not be able to move forward after climbing how tall that crane is.
Right.
No one's that strong. And then the physics of the jump from the crane, at some point your forward momentum stops and you just go straight down. I don't know if you know that, people. There's just so many moments like that I think is you build up so much animus towards this film that you refuse to accept the fantastical elements of it. You just do.
That's true. Yeah. I 100% agree. Although I will say, I was happy to see Nev Campbell get some work, even though it was terrible. I was happy to see her in a film.
I guess so. Good for Nev.
Good for Nev.
But dear God. It made me wonder, too, is I feel like this is one of those joint ventures, too, with the Chinese cinema. And I'm wondering how much of a... You know what? I'm not going to lay blame on anybody else. This thing just stunk. Shoot us I'm done. We're moving on. I got other things to get angry about, and I don't want to blow all my steam off right now.
Yeah, seriously.
So, feedback at thefirstrun.com. Why did you hate Skyscraper? Because I know you did. I'd love to hear from you. All right. It's Comic-Con time, Matt. I'm going to play you a clip from something that made me squeal with joy.
Oh, boy.
So, take a listen, looky, Lou. Listen, Lou. Just listen to this.
You've run from foster homes in 6 counties. I can take care of myself. When you're 18, give these people a chance, because that's what they're giving you.
This is Billy Batson. Make sure you make him feel at home.
They seem nice, but don't buy it. It gets real Game of Thrones around here. Dude, just messing around. You look at me and you're like, why so dark? You're a disabled foster kid. You've got it all. If you could have one superpower, what would you pick? Everybody chooses flight. You know why?
So they can fly away from this conversation?
No, because heroes fly.
Well, you need your fake family to stand up for you? Hey! Man, sorry about that. Go, go, go! Grab it! Get out the way!
Billy Batson, I choose you as champion.
Hello?
Say my name so my powers may flow through you.
But I don't know your name, sir.
Shazam.
Are you for real? Say, okay! Shazam?
All right, so there's another minute of awesomeness in that trailer. You should go to YouTube and watch it right now. Went a little long on that clip, but I don't care because I loved it, Matt. I loved that thing. And especially after he turns into Shazam, it gets that much funnier. This thing, dare I say it, Matt, and we'll talk about Aquaman too. Could DC be on track?
I like their chances with this. This is actually, I can genuinely say this is the first DC film in a really long time that I've actually looked forward to seeing. When I watched the trailer, I said, wow, I'm excited to see that. And that is not something that happens very often with me, as you will know, because I like to poke Chris about it. But this looks actually like it's got the right tone. It looks like it's got the right actors. It looks pretty good. You know, they've got the ridiculous Shazam suit, which is just fantastic. And guys, I feel like we're one step closer to getting a Kingdom Come movie, just as like an Elseworld thing. I'm just going to throw it out there. We're going to get one at some point. But I don't know. I think I'm really excited for this, which is I never thought I would happen anytime soon.
It pleases me to hear you say that. So if you're not familiar with Shazam, folks, Billy Batson is a young man. He's 14 years old. He meets the Wizard. Wizard imbues him with his powers. He says the word Shazam, and he turns into a superhero named Captain Marvel. But I guess he's just going to be Shazam? I'm not quite sure. So Zachary Levi plays Shazam in this thing, and I think it's perfect casting too. How he delivers the stuff when he is Captain Marvel, when he is a superhero thing, he totally captures that he's still the kid, right? Who happens to be a Superman level superhero, basically.
Right.
And your bad guy is Thaddeus Savannah, played by Mark Strong. And you got the whole crew in here. Freddie Freeman is in this. I mean, listen, I've always kind of liked Captain Marvel. I just thought I love the character design. So, and it looks like they did a nice combination of the old school comic book and then a new updated version. They included the cape, the half cape, which I think is fun with the hood. I like how the lightning bolt kind of glows. There's a lot of cute little things, great little things in this thing. So, I don't know. Out of all the trailers that I watched that came out of Comic-Con, this was easily my favorite. I've watched it 3 or 4 times already.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks
really
good. And The Rock is going to be in this. He's going to be Black Adam, right?
I don't know if he's in this one or if
Okay.
he's just going to have like a cameo appearance or it'll be like the Marvel teaser thing.
Yeah.
Something will happen or they'll maybe allude to him as the film progresses.
Right.
I don't know. I'm curious to see how they handle the Black Adam portion of it. But still, just great stuff. And I'm really excited for it. Unfortunately, I have to wait till 2019. But
and what's weird is I was reading online, we're gonna get two Captain Marvel movies within like a month of each other. So there you go.
There you are. Good times.
Yeah, and it should really say something about Comic-Con when this is the most exciting thing that came out of the whole show. I mean, and not to say that this is exciting, but this is not huge news. It's not the kind of like earth-shattering stuff we're used to seeing in the past years. So,
True.
It was kind of a quiet year for Comic-Con, believe it or not.
All right, what do you want to talk about next?
So can we talk about, let's segue into Aquaman.
Okay.
I'm not confident about this film.
No.
It looks cheap. It looks so cheap. The CGI looks terrible. It looks so bad. I do not like how the way this looks.
I decided earlier this year that I was taking off the rose-colored glasses on the DCEU. I was no longer going to carry water, and I was going to say it like it is. I don't think so, Matt. I think it looks fine. In fact, especially in that trailer when Black Manta shows up, man, that I think looks fantastic. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and we'll see when it comes out. I think James Wan is going to deliver with this thing. I think it's going to be good. I am not listen. I think I mentioned that Momoa may have crossed the Tatum line, or at least was peeking over it after Justice League. One of the only few good points about that film, really. So I don't know. I just think the thing that bothered me the most about the trailer was Mara's hair. It's way too red.
Yeah.
It's like fire engine red. I don't quite get that.
Is that Amber Heard?
Yeah.
From the
That's Amber Heard.
I didn't even recognize her with that hair.
Plays his spouse, his wife. Though I don't think they're married in this film yet.
No.
But still, I don't know. I don't agree. I think part of the issue is the reveal poster isn't terribly interesting or good. But again, I just more Warner Brothers DC marketing fumbles, which I think is what they do best.
Yeah.
But I think the trailer looked fine. It didn't have the same pop that Shazam did, but I think it was good. I think it was fine.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it was pretty close to Justice League. It wasn't quite as bad as Justice League, but it does not look as good as Batman vs Superman or any of the other stuff that's come out. So,
well, the thing I was always trying to remind myself of Justice League 2 is that they basically just threw that thing together. They had a deadline, and they had to fix what was supposedly the unwatchable Zack Snyder version.
Right.
So they did all this stuff at the last minute because they had a deadline they had to meet. So that's kind of how I chalk that up.
Right.
Juan does not have that issue. So I don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to be fine. So what else? Let's go in ascending order of interest, I guess. Maybe you want to talk about Glass?
Sure.
So looks like everybody's locked up, right? We got our Split guy. We have Mr. Glass, and we have David Dunn being interviewed by a therapist. And I guess at some point they break out and there's a bunch. I don't know. It was an interesting trailer. I am really excited about it. I saw some people online state basically that, I know there's one. Was it April Dawn? I think she's a film critic out of Australia. She was not impressed at all, but because she also thought Unbreakable is really dull and that Split wasn't as good as everybody says it is. So, if you balance for taste, then I'm willing to cut it some slack. I know Unbreakable is not your typical superhero film. That's the whole point of the film. But I don't know. I still am excited for this thing. I'm curious to see what Shyamalan does with it. I saw Anya Taylor-Joy returns, so that'll be interesting. But I think it's enough where nothing was really spoiled too much. There wasn't too much given to us. And I think it did a good job of just slowly, again, increasing my hope and expectations for the film. I don't know. What did you think of the Glass trailer?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I didn't love Unbreakable the first time I saw it. It kind of grew on me as the years progressed, you know. But I enjoyed Split. I'm really interested to see James McAvoy kind of bounce off of Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis. I just kind of want to see how all this plays together. And it looks like it's got like a lot of it looks kind of creepy and kind of with the Split character. I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see how this all works out.
Yeah, we'll see. But there is a part of me that's terrified that this is going to be another step back for Shyamalan. But we'll see.
Right.
We'll see.
It's kind of make or break time for him. This is like a big thing for him.
That's true. That's a great point. I think it is. This could push him over the edge and maybe get a big property, maybe.
Yeah.
Like Duncan Jones is doing, was it Rogue Trooper, which is a 2000 AD comic character adaptation he's doing. I'm wondering if he could then get one of the bigger things. If you know what, maybe he doesn't even want to, though. I shouldn't be just talking about
Sure.
it. All right, so what's bigger for you? I know what it is for me. What should I talk about? Godzilla, King of Monsters, or Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald?
Fantastic Beasts, I guess.
No juice for me. I think this looks a little more interesting than the first film. Probably because we don't have to do any world building. Not that they had that much world building to do in the first one, but still. I don't. There's no pop for me in this. I'm sure we'll do it for the show, but if we didn't, I don't think I would ever watch it.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I mean, I think it's fair that we are in the minority. I mean, we're not huge Harry Potter fans. Like, I couldn't get myself even that worked up over any of the Harry Potter movies. I wasn't really that into it, So this is just kind of like, okay, like it's like, I'll watch it because we do, like you said, we do it for the show, and it seems like it's a part of pulp culture. So I guess I feel like I have to see it at some point, but I'm not like going to be lining up. If I caught it like 10 years from now on cable, I would be completely fine with that.
Yeah, the first one did pretty good, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it did. It did. But people love Harry Potter. We missed that boat.
That's true. We were too old by then. So that's a fair point. How did that thing do? 180, 814. Yeah, that's a pretty good return. All right. So then a big one for me. I don't think you were hosting back when we did Godzilla. I loved the Godzilla remake. I thought it was just perfect summer popcorn entertainment. And the next one's coming out, and they're going all in on Godzilla King of the Monsters. Mothra, Ghidorah. Yeah. I mean, they're all in this bad bear, and I am really, really excited to see this one. I think the trailer does a good job of building it up. You got Vera Farmiga, you have Millie Bobby Brown, right, from Stranger Things. So I don't know. I hope it's as entertaining as the last one. I'm hoping it's going to be even better, because the first one did have its flaws, particularly the Aaron Johnson subplot. I mean, that stuff was just atrocious. But just seeing the big guy back on screen again and done right, I was really excited about. So I'm looking forward to this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I used to love Godzilla movies. I enjoyed the remake. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was they got the bulk of it right. So I can only imagine as they throw more monsters into it, I'm really curious to see, because I think this will be really the first time we've seen like Mothra and Rodan and Ghidorah, like not as guys in rubber suits that just look terrible kind of thing. So I'm really looking forward to see what a Hollywood effects budget can do with these monsters. I'm really curious to see this and really where they go with it. I'm excited.
Is it too much? Should we have just stuck with Rodan or Ghidorah? I mean, Ghidorah's the one, that's your ace in the hole, right? That's the one you save.
Right.
So do you think it's too much doing all of them at once?
No, I don't think so, because I think it's going to be like one of those classic things where it'll be like Godzilla and Mothra team up to fight Ghidorah and Rodan. That's how these things work. Those two are the good ones, and the other two are bad ones. Or really, all of the rest of them are bad ones. But I guess the real question is, are we going to get King Kong? Is he going to show up at some point? Are we going to be a little Easter egg at the end?
Or what about Gamera?
Or Gamera, yeah.
He's really neat,
He is.
He's made of turtle meat. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm really excited for it, so it should be good. Do you want to talk a little bit about Overlord? I know it wasn't Comic-Con specific, but
yeah, sure. So I think I think it's basically been thoroughly denied by, but of course it's also by J.J. Abrams, who's a known liar as far as his films go. But it's not a Cloverfield, universe film.
But what happens in it, Matt? What's it about?
So it's about a team of commandos, I guess, in World War II who infiltrate a Nazi facility, and they discover like the Nazis are doing some kind of zombification super soldier experiment. So they're creating like shock troops that are basically the undead, and it's them trying to stop them and all that kind of stuff. So it looks very violent and you know, creepy kind of thing. But I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I wasn't as excited about it as I thought I was going to be after I saw the product.
Yeah, I mean, monster zombie Nazis. You're right in my wheelhouse with that kind of thing, right? So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. We'll see. I still don't. I mean, it looks like an asylum film, but with a real budget.
Right.
It's. I'm still not convinced it's not a Cloverfield film.
Sure.
I mean, if you watch The Paradox, right? We're talking about the whole thing is that if they start that, what is it, atom collider thing, whatever it is, that
Yeah.
it can cut a rift through space and time.
Right.
Right? Because Paradox takes place like in 2028 or something like that.
Sure.
And the first Cloverfield is 2008. And they're all, I think all three films, what I'm thinking is after seeing Paradox, is that all three take place in different dimensions.
Okay.
All right? Parallel worlds. And that the running of the collider tears rifts in all three of these worlds. So why not tear one into the World War II
Sure.
version as well? And maybe because I'm not convinced that it's just zombies. I think there's could be some monster DNA somewhere. And if it can go from 2028 to 2008, why couldn't go to 1940 or 41?
Right. Yeah. It's got a very how did I describe it to you? I forget. I had it on the tip of my tongue, but then I forgot. It's got a very Castle Wolfenstein film feel to it. It's like if you're familiar with those video games, and it's all about, you know, Nazis messing with alien technology and the cult and making super soldiers and just kind of being all wackadoo. This is basically what this feels like to me.
Which, sign me up, brother.
Yeah.
But I wonder if the denial of the Cloverfield thing was due to the poor reception of Paradox.
Oh, that's
supposedly it was like the most watched thing Netflix had. So
right.
I don't
know.
All right, one thing I wanted to ask you, Matt. One of the things
Sure.
that was announced was a Buffy reboot.
Oh, really? I missed that. Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
I
tell
guess
me
there are
about it.
talks to that. You're a Buffy fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I really liked Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Up until this kind of recent unfortunateness with Joss Whedon, I was all on board. I liked all of his properties. I was a big fan of Buffy. I was a big fan of Angel. I really liked Firefly. I was a huge fan of Firefly. Dollhouse has its moments. It's not great, but it's got its moments. So yeah, I was always interested to see more of what he could produce. So I mean, if he's on board, is it going to have Sarah Michelle Gellar as well?
I have no idea. I don't believe so. I think they may actually go with a minority cast too. The Charmed remake, perhaps.
Okay. Is Joss Whedon involved?
I believe so. I don't know how directly. Maybe more of a blessing thing.
Okay, well, if Joss Whedon is not directly involved, I'm gonna really temper my expectations quite a bit on this, because that's part of what I think sold it for me. So we'll see.
Fair enough.
I
want to talk about Titans.
Let's.
So there's a great article online you can read. Is it Scott Weinberg? Oh, I can't believe I'm blanking on this. I should have written it down. Or is it? Anyway, about the impact of The Dark Knight 10 years later, and how it was the best Batman film, but then went on to ruin Batman and potentially superhero films as a genre.
Okay.
And that is, of course, is the embracing of the darkness, right? The grim and gritty, and how Batman has been stuck in that way ever since. So DC is launching its own streaming service where you can watch DC movies, you can watch DC shows, including old stuff like Wonder Woman, and they're also developing some new shows, one of them being Titans. Now, if you're not familiar, the Teen Titans, which is the origination, was Robin and Kid Flash and Starfire, Beast Boy, Raven, and Cyborg. Now, in DC's efforts to embrace a larger social, how do you want to put it, map, bring in more minorities into prominent roles, which is a good thing. They made Cyborg a founding member of the Justice League and pulled him out of the Titans. So this version now is going to focus on Robin, Starfire, Beast Boy, Raven. At some point, he becomes Nightwing because I think they've already announced that. But Hawk and Dove are in the trailer as well, which is fun.
Yeah.
But there is a moment, and this is just going to be the beginning of the explicit tag, folks. I'm going to play you a little something real fast, and we're probably gonna get super explicit in about 10 minutes or so. But there's this, which I think is a potentially colossal error on their part. So take a listen.
Where's Batman?
Fuck Batman.
All right. So this is Robin attacking a bunch of people in an alley. He manipulates a guy, ends up shooting a bunch of people, right? He's the guy shooting at him, but he makes it move, so he ends up shooting the other people. There's a distinct celery crack, which is him stepping on a guy's neck and breaking it.
Right.
And then he drops the F Batman.
Right.
Matt, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
The problem, one of the problems with Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, is how intense and dark they are. How do you go this route with the Titans and Robin?
Right. And not even like Damian Wayne Robin, not even like the later tortured Robins. This is Dick Grayson Robin. This is like the boy wonder. This is like, I don't understand where they're going with this. And what's so weird about it is that DC in their comic properties has been consciously moving away from some of this stuff. Now, I mean, some of it, yeah, they still got their dark pieces of it, but especially with the Bat family, you've got kind of a lighter tone. The Nightwing comic is a little lighter. The Batgirl comics are a little lighter. I don't know why they're moving towards this. Like, I mean, there's a place for it, but I don't know. This seems completely joyless, and just based on the fact of how much Teen Titans Go that I watch, because I've got a 6-year-old in the house, and I love that show, by the way. It seems like it's such a whiplash to think what kids are used to as far as the Titans go these days.
Part of the issue, I think, too, is that DC has done such a fantastic job with its TV shows. Right. Arrow can get a little dark, but The Flash is just a ton of fun. And I'm going to tell you right now, Legends of Tomorrow is the best series out of all of them. I would not have said that. That first season is not terribly good, but the second season was good, and the third was a blast. And I don't get it. Now, maybe, I don't know. Part of me wants to say, well, maybe it's some kind of weird Scarecrow type mirror thing that it's not the real reality, but you wouldn't release that as a clip if it wasn't the case.
Right.
So I don't get it, Matt. I don't understand this decision at all. And is the whole show going to be like this? Is it going to be basically an adult R-rated show featuring the Teen Titans?
Well, just the Titans.
I get it, but still, I don't know. I don't understand it. I do not understand it.
Yeah, I mean, we got Raven being tortured. We got Robin being a serial killer. We saw Starfire burning some guys alive. Basically immolating them, and Minka Kelly dressed up as a dove, slashing people's throats open with her wing swords. So yeah, it was fantastic.
I don't get it. $75 a year, people. That's what you want. You want me to pay you for this?
But Chris,
I know
they're starting to release their comics.
I know
that would be the thing that brings me over.
My birthday's coming up, so I'm hoping they're gonna get me an iPad for my birthday.
On your births? Well, hey, I highly recommend for $69 a year, Marvel Unlimited. It's pretty good. It's a good deal.
Matt, I can't. DC at $75. I'm not going to pay. No, there's just too much out there.
Okay, so guys, can we just let's just
still
pause.
Gotta get film struck.
Let's put the brakes on here. This is what drives me crazy about Curious, because like we got AMC A-List, which is $20 a month, right? Which is, for us, is a good deal because we spend a lot of money at the movies.
Yeah,
but
I'm dropping $30 right now as it is, seeing 4 movies a month. Now I can see 3 a week for $20.
Right, but for what, less than $6 a month, you can read comics until your eyeballs bleed, and you won't do it.
But I don't, because I'm not a big Marvel guy.
That's a whole gaping hole. I'm not a big DC guy, but I'm totally going to get on board with this $75 thing.
How much money do you make? I still want to get Filmstruck, Matt, which is a higher priority for me than Marvel.
Chris, it is $75 for the whole year.
Yeah.
So it's for the whole year.
That's like $50
literally
a month, right?
Yeah, I'm paying almost that to go see these movies every freaking week because that's what we're paying. I'm paying more
point
a month. But so what I'm saying is you're paying you're going to $20 a month. You've got to be saving at least $40 a month now.
There are things. All right. I got one last thing to talk about. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get on to the final subject that's gonna?
No, it's gonna end. That's gonna end the show. Come to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So we don't talk about politics on this show at all because we want to be very even keel, and we don't want to alienate part of the audience. We don't want to get involved with that kind of stuff. But I think this week we have to make an exception. So if you like the show but you don't want to hear it, now's the time to turn it off. All right. You can so just to spare yourself. But this week, James Gunn has been relieved of his duties involving Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Well, just in general, right? His association with Disney and Marvel.
Right.
He tweeted a bunch of horrible, unfunny, and wholly inappropriate jokes about 10 years ago. Years ago, he addressed this and apologized. He brought it to Disney's attention. And he has slowly, over the years, basically grown up as a person and become, I think, he has become a rather liberal guy and speaks out on issues of oppression and social and cultural oppression, everything you can think of. He is a rather woke individual at this point, and I appreciate the man for it. James Gunn wrote and directed Tromeo and Juliet, people. If you haven't seen that, that'll pretty much take care of any questions you may have. Now, the jokes that he put on Twitter involved pedophilia. He joked about, what else? There's a little rape or some dusting of homophobia in there as well. But he was a comedy guy and a comedy writer. And this was 10 years ago or so, back before we as a society were as mature and understood these things we didn't understand them as well as we do now. And I think the whole point of these movements, quoting the recent ones, right, the Me Too movement, all of this stuff is to learn to understand why that stuff is wrong. Learn from it and grow past it and apologize, which he has done numerous times over the years. There is a right-wing provocateur named Michael Cernovich. I'm not going to do the cheap gag about him because the man has a very intense speech impediment, and he has what is it? What do you call it? Because I actually had it myself when I was a kid. I had a speech class to take this to stop it. When he
lists.
Thank you. He's got a list. I don't know. Yeah, that was a tough word for me to think of. But what the dumb people? Well, I shouldn't say that. But some people say Mike Thurvanich. You know, as a rip to him. But I don't think it's a nice thing to do because there are people who have that. I was one of those people. This man is a horrible, reprehensible human being. And what he does is he trolls people online and reports them to, if you're any media celebrity, he will then try and dig up stuff about you and report it to people, so then you will lose your job. I am a big fan of Sam Seder. Sam Seder I would see on All In with Chris Hayes, and I followed him. He actually has a show now called The Majority Report, which is a podcast. It's a show he does on YouTube. Very funny, smart political talk. And Cernovich went after him because of a satirical tweet he made a while back, and he actually got him fired from MSNBC. Then MSNBC did its due diligence, spent 10 minutes Googling the event and Cernovich, found out what was really happening, and then promptly reinstated Seder. Sir Cernovich now has turned his sights on to Gunn. Now, Gunn's comments in his tweets were reprehensible and stupid and naive and dumb. But he has since grown from them and learned and now speaks out about this stuff, and I think is a rather... I'm not going to say he's an important voice. He's not in this whole stuff, but still, he's a man who understands. And for him to have been removed off of Disney's knee-jerk reaction to fire him from this franchise is a terrible, terrible mistake. The problem is that I have is this stuff is bad. And it's not even funny, which is almost a higher sin. But it's not funny, and it's reprehensible. The problem is, though, is that the guy is not a good actor. He's a vile gentleman. I'm not going to say that. He's a vile man who has unjokingly talked about date rape. He says it doesn't exist. He uses racial epithets often. He'll drop the ER at the end of N-word and use an A, so then he thinks that's fine and passable that way. He is a horrible, horrible human being. And he wields this stupid mallet against liberals to basically deplatform them. And it is a sad, I think it's a sad thing right now that Gunn has lost this franchise. Matt, I don't want to speak for you, so go ahead, take a few minutes and share your thoughts. And if you don't agree with me, if you think I'm wrong, by all means, please say it.
No, I mean, I do agree with you. I think, here's the thing. I mean, this is where I struggle with this kind of stuff. I mean, obviously, you think of people like, Chris Hardwick, right, who was accused of creating a toxic work environment and being just basically a piece of crap, to his employees and to his female employees and all this kind of stuff. And, that's something that should be punished. But at the same time, it's like, you go back and think of how many celebrities are out there, or how many people who are important, or even you or I. I mean, think of all the crap that we said or we thought was funny when we were younger, when we were less.
Thankfully, before the age of the internet and Twitter and
exactly, yes, exactly. And just think of especially comedians. I mean, comedians. There are a lot of them, right or wrong, that seem to think that it's either everything is fair game or nothing is, that you shouldn't be able to not say anything. Now, whether it's funny or not, that's something that's completely different, but that there should be nothing that's off limits to a comedian. Right. And other than the fact that he says things that are gross and that they're not funny and they're in bad taste, I don't know if you should punish someone with getting them off their career or kind of getting them off this franchise just because you're afraid of the backlash. It's not like it came out that Gunn was harassing his interns or anything like that. It's just that he made some off-color, bad, tasteless jokes. And I don't know. I definitely don't think that he deserved what he's getting for this. And to his credit, he's not putting any blame on anybody. He's not he doesn't seem to be mad at Disney. He stated
that they made the right, he was comfortable with their decision and he understands why.
Right. Yeah. To his credit. I mean, he's like, I said it. I'm not going to say I didn't say it. I was in a different person back then. And I will accept the consequences of that, which is in and of itself refreshing. And I don't think this is the end of James Gunn. I think obviously it'll blow over. I think he'll get another shot somewhere down the road. It's just unfortunate that, he's been taken off of this franchise that he kind of helped build. That I would have been really interested to see where he would have taken it. And now we're not going to get to see that.
So supposedly the script is done. For Guardians 3. Do they scrap it and start over? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think they can. No, I don't know.
So who do you pull in? My hope is Taika Waititi. I think would be perfect, though I'm desperate for DC and Warner Brothers to get their hands on him. But I don't know. But the problem is, what makes this so difficult for me, as I said, is Cernovich is a bad actor in this. All right? There is no integrity in that man whatsoever. He is a vile, contemptible human being.
Yeah, he's not doing it because he thinks that what he said is wrong. He's just doing it to get him in trouble. It's just really
because he says things that are far worse.
Right.
I don't know. This really bothers me because I don't like what Gunn tweeted and what he did back in the day. I don't. But the man has grown and he's made amends and I just don't think at this point. I don't think the punishment fits the crime, I guess, really. Right? Is what I'm saying. I don't know. All right. Anything else, Matt?
No. Go back and delete your old tweets and your old social media stuff, everybody. Once a year, clean up. Anything older than a year, get rid of it. You don't need it anymore.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
All right. So that's going to be the big show. What are your thoughts on San Diego Comic-Con? What do you think about James Gunn's firing? What do you think about Robin saying, F you, Batman? We'd love to hear your thoughts at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Next week. All right, so we were both pleasantly surprised with Unfriended. I think that was a lot better than we thought it was going to be, the little horror film. Well, the sequel, Dark Web, is here, so we'll be discussing that. We may also be discussing the return of Antoine Fuqua and Denzel Washington in Equalizer 2, though by going to see it, we are helping the chances of a third film and at least perhaps another Fuqua film, which is not good for us as a republic. But maybe we'll do an Equalizer 2 as well. Also, if you go to the YouTube channel, just go to youtube.com/thefirstrun. You can see the very first episode of The Great Unwatched, where I actually review films that I blind bought over the last 20 years and let you know if that was the right decision. The first one out of the gate is Jess Franco's Bloody Moon, the 1981 slasher film. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Watch the damn video. It's also on the website at thefirstrun.com. Just click on the Great Unwatched tab. You can see the first one. Next one I'm going to do is probably going to be Criterion, because I have a bunch of those, and I'm not sure if it's going to be... Matt, you tell me. Lone Wolf and Cub, the first one. Or should I do Being There? Hal Ashby and Peter Sellers.
Lone Wolf and Cub.
Right.
I don't think there's enough Japanese swordplay in her life.
All right, I'll check that out, because I got the whole set. Without ever having seen a single one of them, I bought the whole.
Are you doing the whole set, or are you just going to watch the first
No,
one?
I'm going to do the first one for now.
Okay, all right.
I'm not going to do all of them. Dear Lord. You know, there's like 6 or 9 of them in there. I don't know how many there are in there, but there are quite a few. We're also on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Do a search for The First Run. Scroll. Eventually you will find us. Go on the Apple Podcast and give us a quick review. 3.5 stars and above. And one last thing, Matt. Did you hear they announced the new David Bowie box set?
I've heard it mentioned by a Bowie superfan that I'm aware of.
Yes.
He's very excited about it.
Yeah, he's super excited about it because so they've been doing box sets of Bowie every year. Now we're in the 80s, which is Let's Dance, Tonight, and Never Let Me Down. And I'm going to be honest with you, Matt. I was a little concerned about this set. And then I found out what's included in it. Oh, they're redoing Never Let Me Down. Potentially his worst album. They took his vocals and they brought in musicians that he'd worked with over the last 10 years or so, and they re-recorded the album. They've released one song off of it, and it is fantastic.
Really?
And I cannot wait. There's also 2 new live albums being released that were never released. The remix album is a version of that. So in 83, they were supposed to release a remix. Was it 85? A remix album, and they never did. This is like a new version. Anyway, it looks fantastic, and I can't wait for it.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. October. It's going to be a great Christmas this year for me. That's on my list, folks. All right. I think that's enough.
I think so.
All right, we're going to take an extended break, everybody. And we will see you soon. Thanks for listening.
Oh, hey, what's up? I'm a superhero.